Hello, I'm Kevin Anzenberger, and this is the Sports Interview. If you are hearing me right now, you are listening in to channel 90.7 WEHC at halftime of the football game. If you are seeing me right now, you are tuned in to Comcast Channel 3. Whether you are hearing me or seeing me, I'd like to thank you for joining us here on the Allen set. That being said, if you think my guest here today has nothing to do with our football team being 7-1, you're wrong. Today I have the first ever strength and conditioning coach Emory and Henry College has ever hired. Joshua Bullock works with all 13 teams here on campus, and boy, does he have his hands full. Coach, I know you're a busy guy, and I really appreciate the time you took to join us here on the set.
Hey, my pleasure, my friend, my pleasure.
Now, something I like to ask, it's kind of cliche of everyone who's new to campus here, is how did you get here? What was your journey to get to Exit 26?
Yeah, it's a good question. Well, I started my career as a personal trainer, and I worked at a fitness club called 5 Points Fitness in Northern California. Worked with primarily swimmers, tennis players, that type of thing. And then when my mentor left the University of Redlands, he said, hey, you may want to look into this job. And I said, all right, I will. Well, I went through the application process there and earned the job at the University of Redlands as their second ever head strength and conditioning coach. So that was pretty cool. I was there for 5.5 years, and then moved, when my wife got a job in Vermont, we moved to Vermont and just kind of pursuing her career. And when I got to Vermont, I joined a ski academy, which is kind of ranges from athletes 12 years old to like 26 years old, ranging in all levels of development from youth to U.S. ski team type of athletes. And joined them for a year and a half, but really had a passion for college athletics. So I made a transition to Green Mountain College, which was kind of 35 minutes down the road from the ski academy, and worked there for a year until the job here came open. And obviously, when I saw the posting and had an opportunity to meet our staff and our students that made that move here. So
you've obviously been to a lot of places and seen the culture at a lot of different athletic colleges, and now changing our culture sort of right now is our key at Emory and Henry College. How does our culture compare to the places where you've been in the past?
I think top to bottom, we have a great culture. Our kids are really learning to train. They're really learning that being part of the process of athletic development really affects the results that you're after and the outcomes that you're chasing. So I think top to bottom, we have a great group of kids that are really dedicated to their craft. They train hard. They're pretty disciplined, and I think every day we seem to be getting a little bit better, which is exciting. So
I've mentioned how busy you were a lot. Take me through the average workday of Joshua Bullock, and do you ever sleep?
Yes, I sleep. I try to. That people would probably be surprised that I go to bed as early as I do, but here we go. Well, I'll give you what I did yesterday. Yesterday starts well, my normal wake-up time is about 4:25, 4:30. I would be lying to you if I told you I roll out of bed right away, probably like 4:35. And then I get to the gym about 5:35 in the morning. And our first team rolls to the gym at 5:45, and they start their warm-up. We'll train teams throughout the morning until about 10 o'clock. Once 10 o'clock hits, we'll have finished volleyball, cross-country, men's soccer and women's soccer, and baseball and softball all before 10 o'clock. And then 10 o'clock hits, and I'll go into my first coaches meeting, which happens to be with your coach. And so we'll meet for half an hour. Then I go from there to athletic training meeting. And then from there at 2:30, I'll go into our football staff meeting. And the next group rolls in at 5 o'clock, which is our afternoon workouts, which consists of swimming and softball. And then we finished the day with women's basketball yesterday, and they ended at 7 o'clock. So busy day, on the move.
Yeah,
Making people tired, yeah.
No kidding at all. And something that I can see in this interview already, and I see in the weight room every day, is your passion about what you do. It's very prevalent. And where did this come from? And when did you know that this is what you wanted to do with your life?
Yes. The difference between maybe myself and a lot of our student athletes is that as a student athlete, I wasn't talented. Like, I didn't have a lot of athletic ability just naturally. I was undersized, and I don't know if it's appropriate for this interview or not, but when I got to college, I was 157 pounds. That's small for a college football player, and you don't really stand much of a chance at that point. And my coaches told me, hey, listen, if you ever want to play, you better get in the weight room. And so I did. And I changed my career path as a student athlete. And when I was a junior, the college that I was at hired a strength coach. And I went from wanting to be a PE teacher to wanting to be a strength coach in about 30 seconds. And so I just started getting into his office and spending as much time in there as I could. And And seeing the gains in the changes in my body and the changes in my athletic performance made me really interested in how I could do that to other people. So that's kind of how it got started.
Now, you work with a ton of student athletes, and obviously you just showed us your schedule. You're too busy to work for maybe people on campus who are just trying to get fit, who aren't a student athlete. So maybe you can't offer them anything, but what can our facilities offer those people who maybe aren't on a sport here but would like to get fit?
Sure. When I arrived in July, we strategically laid out our facility to what it is. And people who have been in there recently in the last probably 4 or 5 months have noticed the changes that we've kind of implemented. And we've laid it out to where both our varsity athletic teams and the student population, including our faculty and staff, can coexist essentially. The left side of the weight room is set up for treadmills and exercises that aren't really designed to be spotted. They're machine exercises, machine-based, so that they're much more safe. They can be performed on their own. And then the right side of the weight room is set up with all our squat racks and our Olympic stations and things like that you would use more typically for athletic performance. So our facility is designed to accommodate both populations and do it both in a safe and effective manner. So that's kind of the direction we were chasing.
Mm-hmm. And you mentioned change in our culture, change in our weight room. You have made some changes in our weight room to the formation of it. We've got some new dumbbells in now.
Yeah.
What's next on the agenda for us?
Well, kind of like, for you guys and trying to get better every day, we're trying to make this program serve you guys better every day. And I think probably the most notable thing that's coming down the road is the addition of our website changes. So we're going to adopt new, kind of put all of our information on the website. But the big piece of that for our student athletes is summer programming. So you'll have a summer manual. All of our stuff will be hosted on the website. So you'll be able to gather a lot of information about the strength program and what programs you should and shouldn't be doing if it's your student athlete and you're away from campus. So that's probably the first big one that's coming that's going to make us a lot better. The next one is, as part of the tribute to Coach Wacker, the weight room has been in a kind of a state of fundraising. And one of the things that the next addition that we're going to make is inlaid platforms onto all 9 of our racks. So that's going to be a big piece. They'll be inlaid into the ground, cut, and with the big wasp in the middle. And I think they'll look really sharp. And I think not only that, they'll be really safe for our athletes' joints. And the different types of rubber that they use is softer, so it's easier on joints, and then where the plates land is different. And I guess some of the other, maybe 2 other things that are kind of coming down the road. We started the initial discussions with a company called EHCTV, who makes compression gear, and so I think I'm excited about that one. That's just barely off the ground. That's happened in like the last probably 2 days. So we started talking with them about getting compression equipment for our student athletes, which maybe that helps us recover, maybe that helps us with tissue temperature or whatever the case may be that we're chasing, and also to a rehab standpoint. So that's one. And then we've also been in ongoing work in addition with Sodexo, trying to get something put together with Muscle Milk to get Muscle Milk Collegiate available to our student athletes at a much easier, I guess maybe easier format, so we can improve our nutrition and these types of things to help us get better. So.
Yeah, we have a lot to look forward to, and I'm going to put you on the spot here. If you don't want to answer the question, you don't have to. I know we have a lot of student athletes behind the scenes right now, so you might want to be careful. But who do you think the hardest working team on this campus is?
See, the pressure's on. All right, here, not because you're conducting this interview, but there's no question it's men's basketball right now. So there you go.
And you heard it from the word of the strength and conditioning coach himself. Nathan Fischel is telling me to wrap it up as a member of a men's cross country team. But Coach, we really appreciate you being
welcome.
on the set today.
My pleasure.
And if you are seeing me right now, have fun with the rest of the show. And if you are hearing me right now, enjoy the second half of the men's football game. Now I will send it over to Nathan Fischel with the sports update.